Hi, Harry Crosbie's my name. I was wondering what to do in the lockdown, and my hobby has always been good Irish furniture, and I wanted to leave a little message behind as to what these things are and how they came about. Most of all, the background of what they are, who made them, not about the furniture themselves. The first thing is you have to remember these tables were made in Dublin in 1730, which is very, very, very early. And Dublin was a very successful plantation town of the English colonies. Remember that the Industrial Revolution hadn't happened, so there was no such thing as coal, there was no offices, people didn't go to work, there was no factories, none of that stuff had been invented. The people who got the furniture like this made were probably in Ireland about 100 years. They had come here in the time of Elizabeth and Shakespeare, and it had settled down, and Ireland was one of the richest places in the world. The population was nearly double what it is today, and we were rich because we had rain, we had grass, which gave us beef and cattle and butter and whatever. And the people who lived there, they didn't have any work. They had idyllic lives. They lived in gigantic estates of 20, 30, 40,000 acres, which they surrounded by demesne walls, and then they built houses. And they did what rock stars do. They built big, big mother houses. But they had superb taste, and they based everything on the classical traditions of neoclassicism or Andrea Palladio, and that's why Ireland has some of the most beautiful houses in the world. And then, like all rock stars, they put bling into them, and these are the bling of George II's time. And these are a pair of Dublin tables. They are very, very, very good at what they are. Come in close and let me explain. This is called a gathered leg, down along here, you see that? And then in the centre, we go over to a shell, which is a motif that's very common in Irish furniture. And that is the symbol of love. It's the sign of Aphrodite and fertility. The tops, believe it or not, were marble, and in the trade they're called fat and mutton. They came, believe it or not, from Turkey, and they came from a mine which had been opened by the Romans themselves. They loved the fact that they were connected with classicism. Can you imagine when there was no roads, no cars, no engines, no electricity, these people could move stone from Turkey, and the timber came from probably Barbados or somewhere in the West Indies, and the ships that brought it home went out with slaves, and they would have used slave labour to get the mahogany logs, which they called exotic timber, onto the ships, and they would have taken hundreds and hundreds of men to pull these logs out. When they got onto the beaches where the ships were anchored off, they had big pits built under the logs, and they had these giant saws, 20 feet long, with two guys on top and two fellas below, and they sawed like this all day to make the timber and put it into logs to bring it home. Imagine what that was like in the heat and the dirt of in the Caribbean in the 1730s. The building of empires was a cruel, brutal business. But this stuff came home, and it came into Dublin, and it was made and designed and carved, and 99% of it is completely anonymous. We have no idea who made these things, no idea whatsoever.